Welcome to the world of rare treasures, where the Washington Quarter stands out as one of the most iconic coins in American history. Beyond its familiar design, certain rare varieties of this quarter can hold remarkable value, turning what seems like ordinary change into a collector's dream. These coins combine history, artistry, and scarcity, making them a true prize for numismatists everywhere. First up, the 1965 Washington Quarter has become one of the most fascinating coins in modern U.S. numismatics, not simply because of its age, but because of its unusual position in American coinage history. Collectors continue to chase rare examples of this quarter because of their historical context, scarcity in certain varieties, and their role in a major turning point for U.S. coinage composition. Even in very dirty or well-worn condition, an ultra-rare 1965 piece can command strong prices, sometimes reaching into the $1,200 range or higher if it possesses an error or unique striking quality. Its blend of historical importance and collector intrigue has secured its place as one of the most desirable transitional-era coins. The year 1965 marked a dramatic shift in American coinage. Until 1964, quarters were struck in 90% silver, but rising silver prices forced the U.S. Mint to eliminate silver from circulation quarters. As a result, the 1965 Washington Quarter became the first clad quarter, made of copper and nickel instead of silver. This transition makes it historically significant, as it represents the end of a silver tradition and the beginning of a new metallic standard. Millions were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, but transitional errors, such as a few rare 1965 quarters struck on leftover silver planchets, have since captured the imagination of collectors and historians alike. From a design standpoint, the 1965 Washington Quarter retained the classic imagery of George Washington on the obverse, designed by John Flanagan. The reverse displayed the proud American eagle perched on arrows with olive branches beneath, a symbol of strength and peace. The coin weighs 5.67 grams and measures 24.3 millimeters, maintaining the same dimensions as the earlier silver issues. What makes it especially interesting is that, while the design looked familiar, the metallic feel and ring of the coin changed dramatically due to the copper-nickel clad composition, creating a subtle yet noticeable difference to anyone who handled coins regularly in the mid-1960s. Rarity plays a huge role in its desirability today. While the standard 1965 clad quarters are common, the rare silver transitional errors are exceptionally hard to find. Fewer than a handful are known, and even circulated examples command large premiums. Dirty, worn coins with confirmed silver content or other striking oddities can still surprise collectors with values ranging from $2,000 to $3,800, depending on certification and authenticity. Condition matters greatly. A circulated clad example is ordinary, but an uncirculated transitional silver quarter can be among the crown jewels of a Washington Quarter collection. Market values for the rarest 1965 Washington quarters are strong and continue to grow as awareness spreads. For an ordinary dirty clad example, its worth is little more than face value, but for the silver transitional variety, prices have soared. Depending on grade and visibility of the error, examples have fetched $1,500 to $4,200 at auction, and certified high-grade pieces could even push higher when demand spikes. Collectors are motivated by both the rarity of these transitional errors and the story they tell about America's shift away from precious metal coinage. These market trends indicate that serious interest will likely keep values stable or rising in years to come. For collectors looking to secure one of these pieces, careful examination is key. A 1965 quarter that feels heavier, lacks the telltale copper edge, or shows a brighter silver luster should be tested for its composition. Professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC provide certification, which is critical given the number of altered coins circulating. Storage in protective holders helps preserve both the appearance and authenticity, while purchasing from reputable auction houses or established dealers reduces the risk of acquiring a counterfeit or altered specimen. Networking within numismatic communities also provides opportunities to locate these elusive coins. Beyond its rarity, the coin's appeal lies in its transitional identity. It is a coin that bridges two eras, the last of the silver tradition and the beginning of the modern clad era. Collectors appreciate its story as much as its rarity, making it both a conversation piece and a tangible reminder of the economic and cultural shifts of the 1960s. Even in dirty or circulated condition, the potential for significant value exists if the coin turns out to be one of the silver transitional strikes, which is why so many collectors still search for these hidden treasures in old collections and rolls. In summary, the 1965 Washington Quarter stands as a cornerstone of modern American coinage history. Its design may not differ from earlier years, but its composition marks a monumental change that reshaped the way U.S. coins were produced. Rare transitional errors struck in silver elevate its importance dramatically, with values ranging realistically between $1,200 and $4,000 depending on grade and authenticity. This combination of rarity, historical significance, and collector passion ensures that the coin will remain a prized target for years to come, appealing to both seasoned numismatists and newcomers eager to discover one of the most fascinating quarters of the 20th century. Next up, the 1966 Washington Quarter stands out as a coin that, while often overlooked in pocket change, has remarkable significance in numismatic circles when certain rare varieties are discovered. Its value lies not in the ordinary clad strikes, which are plentiful, but in scarce transitional errors and high-grade specimens that collectors prize. Even in very dirty or circulated condition, if a 1966 quarter happens to be one of these rare types, it can bring values from around $900 up to several $1,000 depending on its grade and error type. For this reason, the coin remains a target for those who specialize in mid-20th century U.S. coinage. This coin was struck during a turbulent period for American coinage. In the mid-1960s, the U.S. Mint transitioned away from silver coinage to clad copper-nickel coins due to rising silver prices. After eliminating silver from quarters in 1965, the Mint continued producing clad quarters in 1966, making them among the earliest examples of this new standard. All 1966 quarters were produced at the Philadelphia Mint without any mint mark, a decision tied to the Mint's strategy of discouraging coin hoarding during the shortage of the era. Historically, this makes the 1966 quarter a reflection of economic change and a symbol of America's adjustment to new monetary realities. The design remained consistent with earlier Washington quarters. John Flanagan's portrait of George Washington graces the obverse, a commanding profile that had already been in circulation since 1932. On the reverse, the eagle sits atop arrows with olive branches, representing both strength and peace. The composition, however, differed sharply from previous silver issues. Instead of 90% silver, the coin was made of a copper core sandwiched between nickel, giving it a slightly duller appearance. The coin weighed 5.67 grams and measured 24.3 millimeters in diameter, keeping the same dimensions but with a noticeably different metallic ring. Although millions of 1966 quarters were struck, what makes certain pieces rare are the errors and transitional quirks that occurred during this era. A few 1966 quarters are known to have been mistakenly struck on leftover silver planchets, and these are among the most valuable. Other varieties, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or unusually sharp proof-like surfaces, add to the intrigue. Collectors also prize coins that remain in high-grade condition, as most 1966 quarters saw heavy circulation, and are typically found worn or dirty today. Market values for the most desirable examples remain strong. Ordinary dirty clad quarters from 1966 hold no premium, but silver transitional errors certified by a grading service can fetch $1,500 to $4,500 depending on quality and visibility of the strike. Even heavily circulated examples may surpass $900 if confirmed as silver. Auction houses have recorded instances of high-grade or error 1966 quarters reaching beyond $3,800, underscoring how a coin that looks common at first glance can actually be quite valuable once its rarity is understood. Collectors who wish to pursue this coin should study its subtle features carefully. Checking the coin's edge for the absence of the copper core color can be a clue that a coin is silver rather than clad. Weight testing can also confirm its composition, as silver strikes tend to weigh slightly more. Certification through professional services like PCGS or NGC is critical when dealing with these varieties, as authentication adds legitimacy and helps secure market value. Proper storage, preferably in airtight holders, prevents further wear and protects surfaces from additional damage. What makes this coin particularly appealing is how it captures a transitional moment in U.S. history. The switch from silver to clad coinage was a major cultural shift, and the 1966 quarter embodies that transformation. Collectors who own a silver-era variety essentially hold a piece of minting history, a coin that should not have existed but slipped through as a product of an uncertain era. That uniqueness fuels the appeal and creates both conversation value and financial potential. In conclusion, the 1966 Washington quarter represents more than a piece of small change. It is a marker of America's evolving monetary system and a fascinating collectible for those who appreciate rarity born from transition. While common clad examples are easy to overlook, the ultra-rare silver errors and unusual varieties bring impressive prices, typically ranging between $900 and $4,500 based on condition. Its story of change, its unexpected survival in rare forms, and its continuing collector demand ensure that the 1966 quarter remains an essential focus for those building comprehensive Washington quarter collections or hunting for valuable hidden treasures. Next up, the 1967 Washington quarter is one of those coins that, on the surface, looks common, yet in certain rare forms it carries an impressive reputation among collectors. While hundreds of millions of quarters were produced that year, specific era varieties and unusually well-preserved examples have proven to be highly valuable. Even when found in very dirty or circulated condition, a 1967 quarter with the right characteristics can surprise its owner with a price ranging from $1,100 to well over $4,000, making it a coin worth a closer look. Its significance in American numismatics rests on its position in a changing monetary system and the unique traits that set apart its rare examples. The historical context of this quarter ties directly to America's economic landscape of the 1960s. By 1967, the transition away from silver was firmly underway, and the mint was producing clad copper-nickel quarters to replace the discontinued 90% silver issues. This coin was struck during the height of a national coin shortage, and in response, mint marks were temporarily removed to discourage hoarding. As a result, no quarters from 1965, 1966, or 1967 bear mint marks, making the year distinctive in the Washington Quarter series. These decisions highlight a government effort to stabilize coin circulation while adapting to rising metal costs. In terms of design, the 1967 quarter remained faithful to John Flanagan's original 1932 vision. The obverse proudly displays the bust of George Washington, while the reverse features the familiar eagle perched on arrows with olive branches, signifying both national strength and peace. The coin weighed 5.67 grams, measured 24.3 millimeters, and carried a clad composition of copper and nickel. What makes certain 1967 pieces visually remarkable are proof-like strikes from special mint sets, which show sharper details and mirrored fields compared to the duller circulation strikes. These subtle differences elevate some 1967 quarters far above their face value. Rarity is what drives the fascination with this coin. Although the mintage exceeded 1 billion, transitional errors, double dies, and off-center strikes are highly sought after. A handful of 1967 quarters were mistakenly struck on leftover silver planchets, and those are considered treasures of modern coinage. Even dirty or worn-down silver examples remain very valuable because of their extreme scarcity. Condition also plays a critical role. Finding a 1967 quarter in uncirculated or gem condition is difficult, since the bulk of the coins saw heavy circulation during the coin shortage era. Market values for the most desirable 1967 quarters are impressive. Ordinary clad examples, even when dirty, are worth little more than face value. However, authenticated transitional silver errors or high-grade SMS, special mint set, coins with cameo or deep cameo finishes can range from $1,100 to about $4,600. Auction records confirm that bidders actively compete for these rare pieces, and certified examples with excellent eye appeal consistently bring strong results. Market trends indicate that demand for error coins and transitional issues continues to grow as more collectors become aware of their rarity. For collectors who want to identify valuable examples, there are some important strategies. First, the absence of a copper-colored edge is a key indicator that a coin may have been struck on a silver planchet. Weighing the coin can also help, as silver quarters weigh slightly more than clad versions. Examining for doubling on lettering or off-center strikes can also reveal value. Sending any suspicious or high-grade 1967 quarters to grading services such as PCGS or NGC is highly recommended, as authentication ensures confidence when selling or buying. Proper storage in holders or capsules will protect surfaces from further dirt and wear. What sets the 1967 quarter apart is its symbolism as a transitional coin. It captures an era when America was leaving behind precious metal coinage and moving fully into modern production. Collectors appreciate the story these coins tell, not just their rarity. A silver transitional era from 1967 is more than a coin. It is a physical reminder of economic pressures, minting changes, and the resilience of U.S. coinage traditions. Even in dirty condition, such a piece holds undeniable historical weight and collector allure. In closing, the 1967 Washington Quarter deserves recognition as one of the more intriguing coins of the 20th century. Its ordinary versions may be overlooked, but its rare errors and proof-like varieties transform it into a high-value collectible. With realistic prices ranging from $1,100 to around $4,600 for desirable examples, the coin appeals to both seasoned collectors and those just discovering the excitement of transitional-era quarters. Its historical importance, design continuity, and scarcity in rare forms ensure that it will remain a centerpiece of numismatic study and a rewarding pursuit for generations to come. Next up, the 1968 Washington Quarter holds an important place in the history of U.S. coinage and stands out as a fascinating collectible when examined closely. While many circulated examples exist and can be found in dirty or heavily worn condition, rare varieties, proof issues, and error strikes from this year elevate its status among numismatists. The most desirable specimens have been known to sell for well above $1,300 and, in exceptional cases, push near the upper limits of $4,800. This combination of accessibility for ordinary collectors and high value for rare pieces ensures that the 1968 quarter remains a coin of enduring interest in the numismatic community. By 1968, the U.S. Mint had firmly transitioned to clad coinage, leaving behind the era of 90% silver quarters. One notable change for this year was the return of mint marks, which had been suspended between 1965 and 1967 in an effort to reduce coin hoarding. As a result, quarters from 1968 once again bore D for Denver or S for San Francisco, in addition to those struck at Philadelphia. This detail gives the year added historical weight, as it marked the restoration of a long-standing tradition. At the same time, the San Francisco Mint also began producing proof coins specifically for collectors, further broadening the range of varieties from this year. The design remained consistent with earlier Washington quarters. John Flanagan's profile of George Washington, with its bold yet simple style, occupied the obverse, while the reverse depicted the eagle standing proudly on arrows, flanked by olive branches. Each coin weighed 5.67 grams, measured 24.3 millimeters in diameter, and was struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition. Proof coins from San Francisco, however, stood out with deeply mirrored fields and frosted devices, making them visually more striking. Cameo and deep cameo contrasts in particular are highly prized by collectors today because of their aesthetic beauty. Rarity is largely tied to special mint issues and errors. While circulation strikes are common, coins struck with significant die varieties, such as doubled dies or off-center errors, are scarce and command high premiums. Proof coins, especially those graded as deep cameo, are also rare because only a fraction of proofs display this high contrast. Many 1968 quarters in circulation have been worn down or dirtied over time, but high-grade survivors, whether proof or business strike, are significantly harder to find and therefore more collectible. Market values for the most desirable 1968 quarters vary widely depending on condition and variety. A circulated clad example typically has no premium over face value, but a dirty silver-colored error or proof deep cameo can start around $1,300 and climb past $4,500 at major auctions. Prices are particularly strong for coins certified by PCGS or NGC at grades above PR67 or MS67, where competition among collectors drives values upward. Historical sales records show consistent demand, reflecting how collectors continue to view this year as one rich in opportunities for rare finds. For collectors pursuing a valuable 1968 quarter, attention to detail is critical. Proof coins with heavy frost and deep mirrored fields are the most obvious targets, as they stand apart visually. Examining circulation strikes for off-center designs, misaligned dies, or doubled lettering can reveal overlooked rarities. Weighing coins can also help in spotting transitional errors, although these are exceptionally scarce. Once a potentially rare coin is identified, certification is highly recommended, as third-party grading confirms authenticity and protects market value. Storage in protective holders ensures long-term preservation. What makes the 1968 quarter particularly appealing is how it bridges the gap between the transitional years of 1965–1967 and the establishment of clad coinage as the permanent standard. It marks the revival of mint marks, the beginning of San Francisco's proof coinage era, and the continuation of a classic design that had become a national symbol. For collectors, the year embodies both continuity and change, making it not just a coin to own but a piece of U.S. monetary history to appreciate. In conclusion, the 1968 Washington quarter offers far more than its face value to the world of numismatics. Rare proof varieties, cameo contrasts, and unusual errors elevate this otherwise common coin into one worth anywhere from $1,300 to $4,800, even when discovered in dirty or circulated condition. Its historical context, aesthetic appeal, and rarity in top grades ensure that it remains a rewarding acquisition for collectors of all levels. As time passes and pristine examples become even scarcer, the 1968 quarter's importance and desirability will only continue to grow.